Hey everyone, welcome back. Thanks so much for tuning in again. I really appreciate it. I am super excited to have you here for today's explainer because we're setting off on a really fascinating journey to break down a vehicle that's generating a whole lot of conversation right now, the 2026 Volkswagen ID.4. Our goal today is to give you an honest, no-nonsense look at what this car actually brings to the table, cutting right through all the marketing noise to get straight to the core of what you need to know.
So today, we're taking a slightly different approach to make this explainer as engaging and comprehensive as possible. We're going to blend some hard, analytical performance data from the American reviewers over at Car and Driver with the passionate, experiential driving charm detailed by our European sources. It's basically the perfect mix of left-brain numbers and right-brain feeling, making sure you get the absolute most complete picture of the 2026 VW ID.4.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Section 1. Meet the everyman's EV. Solid, clean, and reassuring.
You know, the ID.4 isn't trying to be some track-destroying sports car or an ultra-exclusive luxury cruiser. It's meant to be highly accessible. And a huge part of that everyman appeal, it starts right here with this number, $46,570. In an EV market that feels like it's getting more crowded and, let's be honest, more expensive by the minute, this approachable starting price makes the ID.4 a ridiculously strong value proposition for families looking to make the jump to electric.
And the design philosophy perfectly backs up that price point. It's futuristic without looking like a bizarre spaceship. Actually, one of our Italian reviewers literally used the phrase astronave bizarre to describe exactly what the ID.4 successfully avoids. It maintains this really clean, modern, and solid SUV look. It's handsome, it's aerodynamic, but it's absolutely not going to make your neighbors think you're prepping for a sci-fi movie shoot.
All right, moving on to Section 2, Power, Range, and Specs, the numbers that matter.
So you essentially have two main paths to choose from when outfitting your ID.4. The single-motor rear-wheel drive configuration gives you 282 horsepower. Now this is really your go-to choice if you want to maximize efficiency, range, and affordability. But if you step up to the dual-motor all-wheel drive version, you get a solid bump up to 335 horsepower, plus a noticeably more luxurious, spirited feel behind the wheel. It flips the script really nicely for anyone who wants just a little bit more punch. And just how much of a punch are we talking about here? Try 4.8 seconds. That is the 0 to 60 mile per hour time for that all-wheel drive model, as tested by Car and Driver. So the big takeaway here is that while the ID.4 definitely prides itself on being a relaxed, comfortable family hauler, it absolutely still has that zippy, instant acceleration you'd expect from a modern EV when you really mash the pedal. But if you do decide to opt for that rear-wheel drive efficiency model we just talked about, this right here is your magic number, 291 miles. That's the EPA's estimated maximum range for the single-motor setup. Our European sources pointed out that out in the real world, this translates to a very solid 400 to 450 kilometers of driving. That is plenty of range to handle your daily commute, knock out all your errands, and take on weekend road trips without that constant nagging anxiety of searching for the next charging station.
Next up, Section 3, Space and Comfort, the Amiralia Experience. Now, Amiralia translates to flagship, which gives you a pretty good hint at the level of comfort waiting inside.
Let's break down this incredible space advantage. Because the ID.4 is built on Volkswagen's dedicated EV MEB platform, it doesn't have to make any weird structural compromises for a gas engine or a bulky exhaust pipe. That results in a completely flat floor and just massive rear legroom for your passengers. And I really love these highly relatable metrics. You can fit exactly 8 standard carry-on suitcases right behind the rear seats. Fold those seats down, you suddenly have room for an astonishing 26 carry-ons. It's basically a cavernous amount of space wrapped up in a super tight exterior.
And speaking of that tidy exterior, I am obsessed with this vocabulary word, fazzoletto. It's Italian for handkerchief. European reviewers are raving that the ID.4 can literally turn on a handkerchief. Because of its rear-wheel drive architecture, the front wheels aren't bogged down by complex drivetrains, which allows for a phenomenally tight turning radius. It makes maneuvering through tricky, narrow urban streets or those painfully crowded supermarket parking lots incredibly easy.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit for Section 4, the tech Achilles heel, the fussy infotainment. Look, every single vehicle out there has its flaws, and we are definitely not glossing over this one. The true talon d'Achille, or Achilles heel, lies squarely in the ID.4's tech interface. The main culprit here is the 12.9-inch infotainment system and VW's, let's just call it what it is, highly controversial decision to swap out traditional, tactile physical controls for touch-capacitive buttons. Reviewers across the board note that while recent software updates have vastly improved the computing speed, the basic ergonomics of sliding your finger on a flat piece of plastic instead of pushing a real physical button, that can still be super frustrating when you're actively driving.
Which brings us to Section 5, Facing the Competition, the Electric Showdown.
Let's just walk through this direct comparison together. When you look at the Tesla Model Y, the Hyundai Ioniq 5, and the VW ID.4 side by side, you see three wildly distinct personalities. Tesla, well, it easily takes the crown for cutting-edge tech and raw energy efficiency. Hyundai wins on that 800-volt ultra-fast charging and its bold, retro-futuristic styling. But look closely at the ID.4's column. While it absolutely concedes on infotainment ergonomics, it is the clear winner when it comes to classic European SUV comfort, superb acoustic quietness, rock-solid build quality, and of course that unbeatable turning radius we just discussed.
All right, we made it to Section 6, the final verdict, finding its perfect lane.
It's time to bring together the hard data and that experiential passion. The 2026 Volkswagen ID.4 is solid, it's spacious, and it is wonderfully reassuring for the family. If you're a driver who wants neck-snapping, roller coaster-level speed, or if you're looking for a spaceship packed to the brim with Silicon Valley tech gadgets, well, this probably isn't the car for you. But if you need a quiet, highly practical, incredibly comfortable workhorse with a massive trunk and a refined European pedigree, the ID.4 hits the absolute bullseye.
Which leaves us with this final, provocative thought to chew on today. In the race for the ultimate EV, does everyday family comfort finally trump cutting-edge tech gimmicks? As you reflect on what you genuinely value and need in a daily driver, the ID.4 makes a really compelling, structured case for the simpler, quieter things. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. I always love exploring these topics with you. I truly hope this breakdown helped clarify the real story behind the ID.4. Keep learning, keep exploring, and I will catch you on the next one.